G'day all, it's Colin from PCTLC and thanks for joining me. This is my 32-bit Asus laptop that's probably anywhere between 10 and 12 years old, and at the moment it's currently running MX16 Metamorphosis. This is the A3W00E model. Pretty sure, let me check, A3W00E model. So yeah, I think it's about 10 to 12 years old, and it's been preserved quite well, still works pretty well, and it works pretty awesome with the MX16. It runs quite well. So I'll just log in. I'll probably have no sound when recording with Simple Screen Recorder. I may have to do some updates. I just want to record first login. Okay, so we're logged into MX16 on my 32-bit laptop, Asus laptop, and as you can see it's running MX16 here. I've got updates galore. It actually said that this X screen is very old and it needs updating. So what we're going to do is run the updates. Actually, I might not even do that. I probably don't need to do that because I can get sound. I was selecting the wrong sound input, so I have got sound now. So as you can see, this thing, even though I'm recording on this very old machine, works quite well, and it's got a bit of speed about it. So just to have a look at the MX tools quickly, there's probably a bit of difference between MX16 and MX17.1 now. So it's a little bit slow now that I'm recording, it's fair enough. So let's have a look. We have software here, slightly different menus, not much difference. I don't know if we've got an info here. Let's have a look. I think we actually had info as let me have a look. System profiler and benchmark. Let's have a look at that. Let's close that. Processor. That's an Intel Pentium 1.7, Pentium 3. Have a look at this, a quick summary. So there we go, we've got memory, and it's only using, now we've got 1.5 gigs of memory on this old machine, Intel Pentium 3 1.7 gig. And you can see here, we're currently using 376 megabytes, and that's with recording. So it doesn't get any better than that. So this is why I keep this machine and I use MX on this machine. So what I'm going to do is we're going to install MX17 on here. Gonna upgrade it. The problem is with this machine is it doesn't boot via USB. However, we're going to use the Plop Boot Manager to actually boot from the USB, and that's a boot manager assistant to help you recognize USB plugged into an old machine. So I'm going to download that. I've already got one. I've got a Plop disk here, but I want to download a new one and make sure that it's all working fine. Let's finish this one and let's upgrade this machine. Well, before I actually upgrade this machine, we'll actually search for Plop on the internet first while I'm in MX16 on the old laptop, and I'll show you where we get that from. So we just do a search for Plop. Now this is not a true indication of how quick this machine runs. With the recording it does slow down quite a fair bit, so That's to be expected. It runs quite fast when the recording's not taking place. So this is Plop, the Plop website. So we go to Downloads, Boot Manager Downloads, and you download PLPBT, Plop Boot Manager 5.015. The one I've got there is is number 5 actually, so let's download that. Okay, so I've downloaded that. We're going to extract here, and we've extracted it here, and there should be probably a, yep, there's an image there, an ISO. So what we're going to do is we're going to, let's close Firefox and ease some resources on this aging laptop. So we're going to use XFburn. I've never had much luck with XFburn in the past, but we'll see how we go. Now my original one's on a CD. I'm going to try and burn this one to a DVD, so we'll see how we go. Burn image. Downloads. ISO. Write mode, we'll keep it auto. And we've picked up the drive, and we shall burn the image. So I had a failed write, which it always happens to me with XFburn for some reason. I don't know why. I may need to put Bracero in. Now I've just wasted a DVD. So we'll try installing Bracero, or maybe I need to update because it's way outdated. We'll see what happens. Okay, so I've actually burnt that to, well, here's my failed image, so I haven't written anything on that. That was it with XFburn. So I've actually burnt it on my other laptop, my Toshiba I do all my testing on. That was in Ubuntu Budgie 1804 Beta 1, and I burnt that to disk, DVD disk. My original Plop was a CD, and this one is a DVD. So now I burnt that one with, that's the one I just downloaded, and I burnt that with Bracero. No problems at all. So it did say successfully burnt, so, or successfully written, whichever way you want to look at it. So what we should get is a menu. Now this menu sometimes it doesn't work for me. I've got to go into, so what we can do is USB, see if it finds the device, boot it up again. Now if that happens to you when you're using this, I've never had a successful boot from, I just thought if I was going to use my original one, but I thought I'd download the latest one just in case that worked. So that doesn't work. So if that's the case, the HDA partition one doesn't work. So press Q, press the letter Q, and you get this extended menu. So we go to USB. Now that didn't seem to work. So we'll shut that down. That's not uncommon, that normally does happen anyway. So we'll try again. So you can go to HDB partition 2 instead of USB. Sometimes HDA may work. We can try that first. Continue, yes. So that didn't work, so we go to HDB. And there we go. So we're booted up with USB. Even though it said it's not a bootable disk, it booted anyway. So we'll start MX 17.1. As you can see the logo difference there in the bottom right hand corner, the other one's MX16, this one's MX Linux. And we have successfully booted our 32-bit from USB on a computer that used to be not capable of booting USB. I'm going to make this quick because I don't know how much space I've got on this little USB stick here, so we're going to do an install. And I've got gparted open as well. You can see I've got a 16 gig hard drive, a Linux swap, and a home. So we are going to we're going to reserve the home partition in this install. So a custom install, root partition SDA1, which is the 16 gig that's got MX16 on it. Our swap partition is obvious. And SDA6 is our home, so that's going to be our home partition. So we'll preserve the data on the home, and that'll do. Go next. Yeah, just yes for that. Okay, to format, yes. Yes, no reformat, yep. Okay, install Grub from X Linux and Windows. SDA, yep. It's the only operating system on here anyway. Yes. Okay, computer name, we'll just call it MX Asus, so I can recognize it on my home network, know which computer it is. Locale, English AU. Australia Perth, that should be good enough. We'll use 24-hour time, and next. User login name, password, don't need to show passwords, save live, no I don't want to save live desktop changes, I've made none, and next. So that's the install, and yes, use the old home directory. So that's finished, and we will, I'll come back once I've booted in to the new operating system. Okay, we have booted into MX17 on the 32-bit laptop. Things aren't quite looking the same, probably because I preserved the home folder, or the home partition. So as you can see, we don't have the conky and we don't have the wallpaper it's probably got confused as to what the home folder was all about. So I'm not sure whether it's not even finding a wallpaper, I don't think. Okay, so this is the reason why I use data partitions separate, and I don't use a separate home partition. Even though it's the same distro, it can still have issues because the home partition in the old one, things may have changed since then. So I might just do a restart maybe. I'm not getting very far with this. We'll see if we can, let's see if we can turn the conky on anyway. Conky manager, conky toggle. I didn't want conky manager, I think. Let's close that. Let's go to conky toggle. See if we can toggle that on. Okay, so maybe we need to themes. So it's probably kept in the home folder, so I've preserved the home folder, so that's why I'm having issues. So maybe I'll reinstall and clean up the home folder as a data partition instead. We'll have a much better experience in MX17 with that. So I might do that. Anyway, I'm going to reinstall and we'll make a separate data partition, I believe. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to use gparted. Alright, so we've got our home partition there. And what we need to do is unmount that. We're going to format that to ext4. Yep, apply. Swap is always swap, we don't worry about that, it stays the same. And the root partition that we install to will be formatted anyway, so that's okay. We just don't want this data partition to be holding all those home folder, the home folder stuff in there. Alright, so let's start the installer. It'll always be that #1 disk unless you've got multiple disks on there. That'll be the main one anyway, always. Custom install. Now we're gonna, SDA1 is my root, yep. That'll be my swap, and I'm not choosing a home partition. Home partition, no, I don't want it to be. Home partition will be root, which will be part of this. And then I'll make it as a separate data partition. Actually, I should have actually given it a flag in gparted. So we'll do that. Root is ROOT. Root is the name for the password on live disk of MX17.1. So this one here, we shall give it manage flags. Oh, not flags, sorry. Label file system, and we'll call that data. That way it'll always show up as data, so you know which disk you're dealing with. Let's go ahead with that. Oops. Close that. Okay, that deals with that. So that's all done. Next. I'm not going to preserve data on home file this time. The disk with the passage, for instance, passes the smart monitor test. Do you want to continue? Yes. Yes, format that. So, second install. Yep, grub to SDA. Yes. Okay, MX Asus, just like last time. And that's the install finished. So we'll be back. Right, so we're in the second install. You can see CPU's at 100% at the moment. We've got our Conky. Everything is as it should be. So we'll have a quick look at hard info and see what that comes up with. Oh, I think I did the wrong one there. Let's cancel that. Hard info, system profiler, summary. So we're using 466, 63, 460 as it settles down. On this processor here, 1.7 gig Pentium 3 with 1.5 gigabytes of RAM. So that's a second install, MX17. And we have, if we go to here, we should have, there we go, a data drive. So we're going to need root to get into that. Wrong password, I'm not live, am I? Let's have a quick look. And there's my data drive, and I could probably swap that out and just put some folders called pictures, videos and so forth on there. And actually that's, if you need root to get into that, that's a bit painful to put in a password, but that makes it pretty secure anyway. So if you swap out your folders, not even swap out your folders, just leave it as an individual data drive, it's a bit more secure, I believe. I don't know if you have to log back in once we close that. No, so we're right to go. All right. So I could link these folders. So I can't create a folder on there yet. We'd need to go to, we need to open up as root, don't we? What do we do there? File system. Mount. No. Media. Data. There we go. So open root sooner here. Properties. Permissions. Right. Okay, so now we can create, so let's just close that and open it again and click on data. Now we can create folders. documents and downloads. Then we can use those as our folders, and we can do videos, pictures and so forth. So there we go. So you could just point your downloads to those folders if you want. That way it's not on the root system itself. You're not using up the hard drive, you're using the data drive instead. So overall, MX Linux is working pretty well on this computer, I must say. It does get a bit slow when you're doing very intensive stuff, especially YouTube as well. That's where the tube on here comes in handy, SM tube. That works pretty well. So, but you wouldn't want to be doing those while you're recording because it's just using up too many resources. The only problem I'm having is I cannot get the speakers to work on this computer with this 17.1 install. I don't know why. I've tried everything. I just cannot get speakers to work. They look as though they're working, but they're just not working. So I don't know why. Output devices. Set the speakers. Playback. When it's playing back, it's showing the control going up and down. So it's detecting that there's sound coming out, but it's not coming through the speakers. So I don't know why. Monitor of built-in speakers. I've tried all the. I've even tried Elsa Mixer, and that didn't work. And F5 to show them all. F6 to select sound card. Selected the HDA, and I don't believe you need to save there, but when you escape, I did this one here in it, and it's still not working. So I don't know whether that's the right thing to do or not, but there's no sound coming out. But the mic's working, everything else is working except sound on the actual laptop. So anyway, I hope you found this informative and very helpful, especially those people with the older computers that just cannot afford to keep writing to CD or DVD. All you need is one DVD or one CD, and you can, as long as you can find a 32-bit Linux Pro OS or distro, you can continue to boot and try different Linux operating systems out or distros. So hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.